Houston Texans are making moves. The Philadelphia Eagles have traded the 62nd pick to the Houston Texans. And with the 62nd pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Juice Scruggs, center, Penn State. Go Texans.
It's kind of funny that Brian Cushing, who was popped twice by the National Football League for violating the league's policy on performance-enhancing substances, a man described by former Texans fullback Fonte Leach as always juiced, end quote, announced that the Texans picked a man by the name of Juice. That's hilarious. Obviously, they had no idea it was going to happen like that. Cushing was on standby for them to make a pick in the second round. They trade up into the second round, and Cushing announcing a guy named Juice got drafted. I'm sorry. I thought it was funny. Nothing against Brian Cushing. I really don't care what an NFL player puts in their body. It's a hard sport. If you're willing to deal with whatever side effects and consequences come of taking that substance, then you know what you signed up for. Certain shrivelings or other things maybe not working so well going forward. If you're willing to do that to be the best player you can be, have at it. I'm not going to tell you to stop.
In risk overtrained athlete syndrome. That too. Really put it all out on the line.
Overtrained AF. Yeah. So that's the pick the Texans made, the first one that they made on Friday night. The center out of Penn State, Juice Scruggs. They draft Tank Dell, wide receiver, out of Houston in the third round. As the draft went on, some of the other picks that they made, I thought for the most part, solid draft class, but honestly, I can't tell you anything about what these guys are going to do. All I know is that there was clearly a priority for this organization to bolster the interior of their offensive line. They drafted 2 centers to bolster the linebacker core. They get one from Alabama in the middle of the draft. And now we're going to see how it all works out. And if D'Amico Ryans is as good as at being a leader of men as he has clearly built himself to be. There are some narratives that have come out about what the Texans did during the draft. I hate that word, the N word, narrative. It's a really annoying word in the world of sports. It's one that's consistently brought up by players who might be sensitive about something that's being said about them. You get it a lot. But I wanted to go through all of the narratives that are coming out about the Houston Texans after this draft came to a conclusion late on Saturday. The first narrative is one that we discussed briefly on Friday. The idea that ownership forced the team to draft C.J. Stroud. Is that true or false? I can't rule out false. I also can't rule out true. So I am waffling a little bit here, but I could very well buy into the idea that ownership said, we're taking a quarterback and we'll make it up for you by allowing you to trade back up to pick number 3 to get your guy in Will Anderson. Another narrative. I don't buy this one. It's gotten very annoying. Someone on one of my YouTube posts that I made about the NFL draft left the comment of, clearly, this is why you have a background in journalism and not business. And I'm like, well, yes, I do have a background in journalism, but okay, Hardo, you're Booger Balls 42069 commenting on a YouTube post at Saturday at 5:30. So let's relax a little bit. But there are some people who are saying, actually, the Texans didn't trade up that much to get Will Anderson. Actually, they were trading up to get C.J. Stroud. And this has been pushed by a lot of prominent NFL pundits who I think are trying to defend the price that the Texans paid to trade up to number 3. That narrative is BS. They traded a lot. Too much? Honestly, I can't say, because if the pick works out, it's a great pick. If the pick doesn't work out, it's a disaster. But this idea that they were trading for C.J. Stroud in reality by making that trade up. No, they had the second overall pick. They took C.J. Stroud. Then they traded up to number 3 to take Will Anderson. It is definitively not that.
No, I kind of disagree. I do disagree. You pick C.J. Stroud so you don't get a bidding war with number 3.
But they acted like this was some galaxy brain move by the Texans.
Oh no, it's just like it's like what you would do. Like it's like the most basic thing of if you were gonna trade up, you take the most valuable guy first. So the only thing less is the less valuable guy, and so now you're only trading up for the less valuable asset.
That is true, but they already had the second overall pick.
Yeah.
And I think it's more likely that in that spot, they would have wanted to trade out of it than to trade up to the number 2 overall pick. So I think it's kind of strange after the fact that people are like, well, actually, that was the trade for C.J. Stroud. Okay, it's still expensive.
Yeah, it's like a base. It's like, what you trade up when you're trading up for a quarterback.
Yeah, it is. But let's not act like they're these big geniuses for taking Will Anderson with pick 3 when they took C.J. Stroud at 2, and that the trade was actually all about C.J. Stroud.
No, I mean, I don't think they're geniuses, right? I think that's just like, yeah, that's common sense of like, yeah, we don't want to have to trade more than the Titans. We don't want the guy that the Titans want to get in a bidding war.
So some people right now are commenting on the twitch.tv. You are wrong. It was definitely to avoid a battle for CJ at 3. I don't think there was that big of a battle for CJ at 3. I don't. Maybe you could argue that all of those stories that were coming out about CJ Stroud, the S2 test and all of that things were to potentially make it so that Stroud would fall in the draft to some team. But I don't think that there was that much of a bidding war to trade up to number 3 with the Arizona Cardinals. I don't. Could be wrong on that front, but I think we need to sit back and stop acting like they were thinking like 8 steps ahead, like it's Bradley Cooper in Limitless.
Well,
he took that pill, and he's super genius. Yeah, we actually have tricked everybody by drafting C.J. Stroud second overall and trading up for Will Anderson. It's been pushed as this really brilliant move. It's not. It was just a trade.
Yeah, no, Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but that's what the trade was for. Because there's the Adam Schefter report, like right before the draft, that the Texans were like kind of expected Stroud to fall, and so they would only have to trade from like 12 to 6 or something. And so then when it's like, oh wait, if he's at 3, then we're gonna have to trade up a lot to get him at 3. Well, let's pick him at 2. So now we're only trading up, competing with.
But just listen. We should transcribe this segment that we just did right there, because what you're saying makes sense, Sean.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying makes sense as well. But people are hearing all of that. Enough people and turning it into this amazing move.
No, that is just the battle red tinted glasses that people wear after every single draft. is that they're just excited they got both guys, so now it turns into a blowfest. It really is just like the most common, like any freaking dude with a fantasy football background, like anyone who's ever played Madden, anyone who's ever played fantasy football could figure this out.
Right. And it's not a genius move.
No.
But some people, to defend the move, are acting like this is this brilliant move. And it just wasn't. It wasn't. They traded a lot to get that pick.
It was just a fine, like, you traded up to get both those guys.
Yes.
Whichever one that you want to say the trade was for,
yes.
Fine. But the order in which they picked, like, does say that, like, there was strategy in the order that they picked them.
This is giving me a headache. It's just that's enough people had this mindset.
I can see why you don't
online.
have a background in business.
I don't have a background in business, and I'm proud to not have a background in business if this is what that guy's trying to spin. Like, what a brilliant move. They still traded a lot. You still spent a lot of money. What are you talking about?
It also is funny that it's like you need a background in business to understand just the most basic things.
I honestly, I hope that person stubs their toe very hard today. Like very hard. Like steps on a Lego, maybe trips. Anyway, another narrative about what the Houston Texans did over the weekend. They're panderers. Sean, this is a theory that you floated out there. And look, that
was in confidence, but yes.
Fair enough. We were the first show, though, to suggest pandering. We were, with the D'Amico Ryans hire. We were like, a little pandering going on here. Not necessarily a bad thing, but there was a little bit of pandering in hiring a former player to be your head coach. you're trying to drum up excitement. Hey, you did that. And you further draw up excitement by drafting a quarterback second overall. You further drum up fan excitement by drafting a University of Houston Cougar. You further drum up excitement for DeMeco Ryans by pandering to him and allowing him to trade up and draft Will Anderson. A lot of pandering going on. I buy into that narrative. There is some pandering going on.
Yeah, just everyone seems to get everyone got what they wanted. They wanted different things, but everyone got what they wanted. We got some more players. We got a quarterback, and DeMeco Ryans gets a defensive piece. Boom. We all it took was our own 2024 first round pick and pick number 33 in the second round. Boom.
They should have drafted Clayton Tune, though. Tank Dell, Clayton Tune. If CJ Stroud ever gets hurt,
you don't want a quarterback controversy.
That's true.
The first time CJ Stroud throws an interception.
Oh boy. Well, you already have that with Case Keenum.
Well, yeah.
He's
True.
coming home. He's coming home. Tell the world he's coming home. A narrative about the Texans draft class. They care too much about morals. This was a line from Nick Caserio, and I'm not going to lie, there's definitely some teeth here too. Caserio said of the players that the Texans drafted on Thursday and Friday, Juice Scruggs and Tank Dell, our 4 players are good players, but they're good human beings. And you go back to that Friday press conference and just look at the amount of times faith, belief were mentioned. I do think that there is something to the idea that the Texans aren't as far removed from all Jack Easterby culture, blah, 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 as we would like them to be. So I do buy into that. So a couple of narratives about the Houston Texans draft class on the way out. As we look back at the draft, other things did happen that were noteworthy. I think the AFC South is going to be a lot more fun than in years past, at least for the short term, because the Colts drafted Anthony Richardson and the Titans traded up to pick number 33 on Friday to draft Will Levis. So at the very least, you have a reason to watch every single one of the quarterbacks in the division for the first time in a while. I can't remember the last time where you could say 1 through 4, you are intrigued by a quarterback under center for every single team in this god-awful division. Because this division has been embarrassing for a long period of time. And I know I'm a bit of a cake eater when it comes to my football love. I grew up watching the Patriots. I remember coming down here and going to like an AFC South Thursday night football game, Texans, Jaguars, Titans, Jaguars. There's a lot of crap games that the AFC South has put on. It essentially was the Tuesday night maction of the NFL for a very long time. So now, with quarterbacks that are first-round picks or first-round adjacent, and I guess Malik Willis still has a chance in Tennessee. Probably not, though. Probably not. I think he might be pretty much out of a job entirely.
Considering the GM who hired him got fired after he played, and then they drafted another quarterback. Yeah, I think things are done. Also, 2016 AFC South, you had Brock Osweiler, you had Marcus Mariota,
Oof.
you had Andrew Luck. Huh?
Yeah. There was some intrigue about
him?
Mariota at that point in 2016.
Yeah, that was his second year.
Uh-huh.
And then Blake Bortles.
Oh, God.
So Bortles, Osweiler, Luck, and Mariota before we knew he was bad.
Yeah.
That's as good as I can get in the AFC South, like recently.
It is so bad. How bad?
Maybe there's a Deshaun, Andrew Luck year that maybe 2017 with Bortles, Luck, Deshaun, and still Mariota.
It's always been at least one outlier. Always. Like, it's been a rough division when it comes to quarterbacks.
Manning, Garrard, Schaub.
That would have been probably it. You're laughing right now, but
Yeah.
Garrard had one really good year.
Yeah.
Vince Young
Had one
You're
or two.
excited
good years.
about him.
Yeah.
He's relevant nationally on a level a lot of young quarterbacks weren't. And Matt Schaub wasn't that far removed from some historic. I think that would have probably
that
been
probably
right
would have
about
been,
then.
yeah.
08, 09, where he's setting records, and Peyton Manning, his head hadn't fallen off yet. So yeah,
And that was the regular season.
right. I think they made it to a Super Bowl. So that's it. It's the AFC South has sucked for the longest time. It's just a completely boring waste of space division. One of the teams is going to move to bleeping England. Like it's not great. It's not great. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Other things that happened over the course of the draft. The announcement of Tank Dell was made by some little YouTuber. Is he a YouTuber, Sean? Are you familiar with his work? Is he a Twitcher?
He was credited as content creator.
Content creator, so he must be some little TikTok bastard. TikTok influencer.
When I looked him up, his YouTube is the first thing that pops up, and he has 12 million subscribers on YouTube.
I want to kill myself. He's 12 million?
He has 875,000 Instagram followers.
I want to kill myself.
You want to hear him make the Tank Dell pick?
I have 2.12 thousand on YouTube. What's the point?
Going to the second decimals.
What's the point? What am I doing? What am I doing this for? He's got that many.
Yeah. Ryan Trahan. I don't know how it's pronounced.
And he didn't even do anything fun when he went up there. God. Here's this little, you know what? Here he is. He's announcing the pick. I hate him.
Howdy. Let's go Texans.
Howdy.
The Los Angeles Rams have traded the 69th pick to the Houston Texans. With the 69th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Nathaniel Dell, wide receiver out of Houston.
Doesn't even know his name is Tank. Is he from Houston?
Howdy.
Howdy. Oh, wait, he is from Houston because he said howdy. My bad. That is as Texas as it gets. It's pick 69. You're a YouTube star, and you can't even say nice while making the pick? Amateur hour. I hate the world. I just hate it. I'm so jealous, and I know I'm a small, petty person. I hate that kid. I hate him. Hate him.
Howdy.
I hate him so much. I hate him so much. Oh, my God. He's got 11 million followers on YouTube. What does he do, like unbox gifts?
Can't you?
Howdy.
What kind of content is he creating?
Howdy.
I might have to go, if I do a Twitch/YouTube show tonight, I might just have to go analyze his content and then see how long it takes me to want to like blow my brains out while looking at his content.
He seems very
talentless? Yes.
I was going to say he has a lot of charisma.
Sure, he does.